Hello, I'm Maria. Welcome to the Rich and Simple Living. I thought today I'm going to just do a quick vlog about a bit of a day in the life really, or what's going on at the moment. I'm not quite with it at the moment because we've just recently had my mother-in-law's funeral, and sometimes it takes a bit of getting back into the swing of things. So we're all sort of a bit lethargic and trying to get back to doing what we were doing. So I thought, I've not come on for a while and I didn't want you to think I've forgotten you. So I thought I'll just give you a bit of a light day in the life, or just what we're all up to at the moment while we're trying to get back into the swing of doing everything. So I don't know what time or what day you'll watch this, but at the moment as I'm filming it, it's a morning time. And so Sian is doing some homeschooling. She's done maths, German, and at the moment she's doing some English literature. She's reading through the biography of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and so we can have a quick flick around and see her if you like. So yeah, quick turnaround. Sian's engrossed in the biography that she's reading. So what she's going to do is read all of the biography, and then she's going to do a write-up about it, like what she's read and how she feels about it, because she's reading the books alongside of the biography as well. She's done a maths, like I just said. She's done a maths book, basic maths, and she's been doing a German. She's done some of that today if I can find it. So she's been doing, is that countries in German? Oh, no wonder she whizzed through that. So yeah, that's what she's been doing today. And like I said before, she uses the a YouTube channel. I'd mentioned it before. Can't remember what it's called now. Is it Learn German? And she uses that, and it's really good. It goes through, it's like a whole lesson. So she picks which lesson she's going to do. I think she's working through them in order though. Although to me they don't seem in order, but she's going in the order they're producing them. And she's working through that, watching the lesson and then writing up about it afterwards. So yeah, she's done normal reading and we've done Bible reading, and now like I say she's doing English literature. So yes, there she is. So I think when she's done that, oh dear, I've lost my light. When she's done that, that'll be Sian finished for the day. So normally her studies take a morning, we do a morning. Sometimes in the afternoon then we go for a walk. It depends on the weather, but we've been trying to walk regularly as we can because I feel it's important for physical and mental health. So we've been doing that, and it's good for the dog because we take the dog as well. But we went yesterday, oh it's so windy, nearly blew our heads off. I had to wear my woolly hat and have my hood up over that because I could still feel the wind through my ears. But then we do walk along a riverbank, so it's always worse there. So yeah, whether we'll do that this afternoon or not, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what the weather does because it looks a bit like rain. But what I'm going to do now, I'm about to bake a cake. I've got all these mixed fruit and that in the cupboard, in my baking cupboard. I thought I must use that. So this one I thought, you know, I'm going to go up and bake a cake. So what to do is make a tea cake. I don't know if we've shown it before when Sian used to do the cookery lessons. It's quite possibly we have done one before. The light's a bit rubbish today, isn't it? I'm trying to get you right, but it's awkward when it's darker out. So yeah, what we do for that is we use a cup measurements, and my good old Disney cup. Got that in Disneyland Paris years ago. Probably vintage now actually in Wordsum, and I'm just using it to make cakes. So yeah, we use that, and I'll just knock a cake up, put it in the oven, and that can be baking then. Dean's out in the shed that we're going to be using for the rabbits, part of the rabbit business. I think he's putting the electrics in today. He's hoping to do the lighting in today. So maybe we'll pop in there in a minute and have a look what he's doing. But I thought first of all, we'll just get this cake done. Actually, I've got my microphone on, so I'm going to take it off. I'll put it down here. Hopefully you can still hear me. I might not be quite as loud, but hopefully you can still hear me while I do this cake, and then I can just chat to you. It's a recipe my mum gave me, actually. She wrote it on a bit of paper donkeys years ago. Well, about 30 years ago. And see the state of it. I've had to laminate it because it's coming apart. You know where you fold it so much, they start to rip, don't they? So it's coming apart and it's got all splashes of all sorts over it. So I've had to laminate it to preserve it. I thought I could just write it out again, but because my mum had wrote it, I thought no, I'll laminate it and keep it. So yeah, first of all, to make this cake, we've got 1 cup of sugar. Now, I'm a bit funny with sugar. To me, sugar is pure poison, nothing but. It's no good for you. It causes a multitude of problems, and I know because I've suffered problems because of it, and it's no good. But the beauty of making things at home, doing your own food from scratch, is you can control things like sugar, salts, or whatever you're cooking. You can control all the bad stuff that goes in it. So it says 1 cup. Now I'm not going to put a cup this size full of sugar in. So what I'll probably do is roughly do about half of that. Perhaps not even that. Because I mean, the sugar is just the stuff to addict you to these things, isn't it? It's not the actual flavouring, because whatever you put a load of sugar in anything, it'll just all taste the same of sugar, sweetness. So it's not really flavouring, it's just an addictive substance. So I put probably half, just under half, it's probably, let's have a look, down to about there. And I'll put that in. So we'll just chuck it in a bowl. Then it says it wants 4 ounces of margarine. And guess what I forgot to bring with me? Wooden spoon. I don't think I've got one in this drawer. I tend to put all my other wooden spoons in another drawer. I sorted them all out and I forgot where I put them all. So yeah, but we'll take 4 ounces of margarine. I've got the stalk margarine. Chuck any margarine in, but I've got this stalk and it needs using, so we'll use that one out of the way. Because at the moment I've got a lot of things in the store cupboards that need using, and I've noticed a lot of things are starting to go out of date or getting close to the dates because I keep buying things and storing them, but I'm not using them. So things get to the back of the cupboard. Instead of rotating things and bringing to the front, they're ending up at the back, and I'm not storing it properly, and I'm not using it correctly then because I'm using the new ones first. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and do some store cupboard and freezer foods to start with. Go through all the freezers and store cupboards. Use what I've got before I restock again. So that's my aim at the moment. So I thought, well, I'll use this fruit, mix fruit up and make a cake. And then see what else I've got in foods. Because I know I've got apples and raspberries. I've got ready-made pastry I made last year. So really I need to start using that up. Because it probably has about a year on it. And then it'll need using. So although it's not been a year yet, it does need using. So yeah. Then it says we need a cup of tea or milk. Now I've never used the milk one, I've always done a cup of tea. So what we do, we just pop the kettle on. I have boiled it up once, so we'll try boiling it up again. Just to get it nice and hot. Pop a tea bag in. And I only have decaffeinated tea. So I'll do that. I'll do that spoon. I have to find my wooden spoon in a minute. Pop that to one side. I've already lined the cake tin. Just make the tea and fill it right up to the top of the cup. Oh, steam itchy when you wear glasses. You can't see nothing. There we are. So I'll fill it right up. Just let my tea bag soak in there so it's nice and strong, and it'll give it a bit of a browner colouring. We'll just move the scales out of the way because that's the only thing we need them for is the margarine. See, bring the fruit, just a mixed bag. So I have to keep watching the dates. Got this out. And I found a tub of, well, a little tub of sprinkles, you know, like you put in trifles or little cakes. And it looked a bit orangey, and I thought, I'm sure that wasn't orange coloured. Looked at the date, it was last summer, and I've not even opened it, it's still sealed. So that's got to go in the bin. So I'm thinking I've really got to go through all these cupboards, see what I've got and start using them. And the freezers are the same, because I opened some bean burgers last week and the sell by date, well, use by date was the end of February this year. And I thought I better finish using them because, you know, they're going to go out of date. So I'm thinking how much more stuff in the freezer's out of date. It's all right in the upright freezer, I can get to that. And that's where we tend to store more of the recent things we bought. But like when I put things in the chest freezers and the deep freezer in the shed, I can't even reach the bottom of it. Dean has to go and reach the bottom of it to get stuff out and tell me what's in there. So I do try and keep a list. Every now and again, I write a list of what's in there, and then as I use it, I cross it off. But the trouble with me, things lapse. Terrible. Things lapse. So I forget to cross things off, or I buy other things, put them in, and I don't write it on the list, and then I never know where I am. So I think that's enough of that. We'll just pop the tea bag in the bin. That step is awkward. Got the gate there for the dog, because when we go out, we keep the dog in it. We keep the dog down there so she's not up here and jumping on the furniture, and she's got a habit because she's been clawing at my cupboard door down here. We're having to keep redoing it, sanding it, repainting it. So we keep a lot down there, so that's why the gates are, but trying to get up and down there because it's quite a big step and I haven't got little short dumpy legs, so it's a bit of a pain. So yeah, we'll pop that in there, and then we'll just chuck a cup of, well, say chuck a cup of this in. I know that a full bag of this is 2 of those cups. So because I've already used one, I know that this will be a full cup. So I'm just going to throw all of this in. Put all of that in there. And that will soak together then. Do you know, I'm just going to have to go and get my wooden spoon. Professional then and paused you, but I thought I'm only going to be a second, so I didn't bother. So yeah, because the tea's nice and hot, then it'll soften up the fruit and it'll melt the butter that's in there, butter margarine that's in there, you know, so it'll do that. And then what we'll do then, when all that's melted, I'll just keep mixing it around while it melts, and then once it's melted, I just leave it stand to go cold then. So the fruit will be nice and soft by the time it's gone cold. But if you choose to do it with a cup of milk, it's best to warm the milk up first as well, so you can melt your butter in it and soften your fruit as well. So yeah, if you use milk, just warm that up. Trouble is, margarine's just come out of the fridge, and my fridge is quite cold. I think the setting needs sorting on it really, because sometimes things feel like they're freezing a little bit. But then you're forever altering your settings, summers and winters. So yeah, that's coming on. So like I say, I'm going to leave that go, melt that. I'll just keep stirring that, melt that. Then I'm going to leave it go cold. So while that's cooling off, we might just pop outside and see what Dean's doing out in the shed, and now the electrics are going. So we're in the shed and Dean started putting some electrics up. I'll just swing you around and show you actually as I tell you. I've got to be a bit careful because he's got the bright light on and I don't want to blind what I'm doing. So we've got one socket gone in there. He's putting the lighting in, so he's put some wood up there so he can fix the lighting, and then along you can see another piece there, so that's where I'm going to have 2 lights. He'll have to paint them white. Then he's going to put me an electric socket over there where he's got his hand, a double one like we've just seen over there, and then another one on this side, and then there's already one attached there that was an original one where he cut the wires off where he'd finished using it, but he's got to redo all that. So yeah, that should be enough. I don't even think I'll need that much electric really. It's just somewhere where I'm going to need to plug heaters in winter, and probably fans in summer because it gets that hot in here. But that would be more than enough plugs. Most of them won't be used, but I suppose it's nice to have them. But yeah, the light's going to go in there. I thought about having some little fairy lights going round or up and down like that. Excuse me. I thought about that. So maybe when they come on sale again toward the end of the year, I might have a look. This beam here, I was thinking of doing in pink so it stands out differently. Just want to make it look pretty, you know. But it's nice and bright in here now. But we have been having an issue up there. Don't know if I can get round. Let's have a look. I'm having to navigate a fridge at the moment. It's in the middle of the room. Okay, so here we've been having an issue here where it's been leaking a bit from the outside. Now Dean's put bitumen over it. Is it dry now, Dean? Is it holding the bitumen or no?
So I've got to redo it.
Oh, so he's got to redo it. So it might even be better just to put a whole new piece of
I'm going to put a new piece of
felt, yeah, on the outside, yeah, because you can see it's just peeling it off. But other than that, everywhere else is okay. Obviously, he's not painted that door because that's coming off. Well, not coming off. I think he said there's 2 layers of doors there. So I'm not sure which one that is. If it's the one that's not being used, that one will come off and then there'll be the other one going on it, or that's on the other side. That door will stay where it is, but it's got, back of it's got to be painted. Obviously the outside of the shed's got to be painted. So there's a lot of work still to do in here, quite a lot of work. So we're back in, the mix is cooled down. So what we're doing next, we're going to pop an egg in, like this. This is Dean's mug, the boss. I've got one in pink that says the real boss. Oh yes. So yeah, we'll just whisk an egg up first. Do you know, so behind everything, behind you, I've got you perched on the drainer, behind there, I've got a couple of days worth of eggs that I haven't sort of cleaned and put the dates on yet to go in my box. So I'm not even sure what dates they are now. So I'm going to have to try and just when I get the eggs later, because I always sort of get them at the end of the day. They seem to lay in the day and then I collect them at the end of the day as opposed to first thing in the morning. Because if we're doing first thing in the morning, they won't have laid nothing and they'll lay later in the day and I have to go back in anyway. So that's how I do mine. But yeah, just give that a mix, tuck it in there. That can go in the dishwasher. Stir it round. And I've just thought I better just pop my oven on behind. This is the first time I'll have made a cake in my new oven. So we'll see how it does in there. I'm gonna take a shelf out, I think, because I need room for my tin, so I've had to take a shelf out. Right, then you have 2 cups of flour. I've already washed my cup and dried it. I did that before we went in the shed because I thought by the time I come back to do this it'd be nice and dry because you don't want bits of flour stuck all over it. And what I was saying about things going out today, this is a brand new bag of flour. Let me open it. And on it, used by February the 23rd. February 23rd. The end of February 23 is what I should say. So this is what I mean by things going out of date with me. It's terrible. So we have 2 cups of this. You know, the one thing I hate about pouring out flours and icing sugar is, you know, all these puffs of dust. I think it must be extremely dangerous to work in factories with all of that because you're inhaling it into your lungs. Can't be very healthy. And I know they say that about talcum powder, but at this rate I'll be wearing masks when I'm cooking. But no, I tend to step out the way of it a bit. Yeah, just give that a quick stir and then we'll put another one in, put the second one in. I will have to try and use this flour up now this month. I mean, it's the first today. Whoop, overloaded it. So I'll try and use that up bake some more cakes. Sian likes plain vanilla cake. She won't eat fruit cake like this. She prefers a plain vanilla cake, so I'll perhaps make some of that. Although I just used the last of my well, not the last of my baking powder, but the last that was in my drawer, and the cupboard up above me, all of me like foil, baking papers and cling films, they're all kept up there. I didn't keep them up there, Dean did. He's always put them up there when we bought them. So of course only he can reach to get them down, so I need another one down now. I forgot to ask him when he came in just, but luckily I've lined my cake tin ready. So I need to get one down, and then I'll perhaps do some vanilla sponge or something. If I don't get around to that today, I'll do some in the week. But yeah, so we'll give that a good mix, make sure there's no lumpy bits and that all the fruit is nicely mixed. I mean, if you find the cup you use and you put your flour in, it's a bit runny-ish looking, just sprinkle a bit more flour in and give it a stir until you've got a nice good consistency, so it does plop rather than run. Yeah, I was going to get my air fryer out and give that a blast and show you how that went, but I just, you know, with everything that's gone on and with sort of not sort of 100% yet back in the full swing of anything, I thought I'll just do something today that I'm used to doing. I just wanted to use this fruit up, and I thought I'll just jump on and speak to you, and we can do the air fryer one another day. We'll do plenty of recipes in there as the summer goes on. But yeah, I've not forgotten that I said I'm going to do that, and I think what the first thing I'll do with that is probably some chips. I was on about to my brother, because my brother said, have you used your air fryer yet? I said, not yet, but when I do, I'll probably do some chips with it. And he laughed. He goes, that's what everybody does first time. But I think because it's something simple, it's something that you tend to have an abundance of, is potatoes, or you've always got a bag of, you know, frozen chips in the freezer. So therefore, if something goes wrong, you can just start again type of thing. And so I think that's why it's so easy to do. Right, on there. So yeah, I thought what I want to do though, I want to try and do my own, where I peel my own potatoes and do it that way. I have to use my finger. And then we'll see how it goes, because it's quite a big basket inside, so I'm curious how much I can fit in one go. And I'm looking forward to seeing how much I can make in one go, and so, you know, the more I can get in, the quicker it is for doing a meal. I mean, Sian doesn't eat normal chips, she only eats the microwave fries. She's ever so awkward to feed, very awkward to feed. I mean, I've told you before, but I mean, there's awkward and there's really awkward, and Sian falls under the really awkward category. Just pop my oven on. Goes on gas mark 4 if you've got gas. I'm not sure what the equivalent to that is. I don't think my mum wrote it down. No, she did. She just put gas mark 4 on it because she had gas like me. And that says for 1.5 hours to cook for. What I like to do is put a bit of foil on the top. The reason for that is because the cake rises and the crust bit on the top will burn. So you don't sort of want that to get burn and burn and burn while you're waiting for the middle to cook through. So yeah, I always put foil on top. So that's now ready to go in the oven. So I'll pop that in the oven and we'll have a chat in a minute. So that's cake in the oven. Like I said, it says it's about an hour and a half, but it's always took longer. Whether that's because my oven was wearing out, or generally things do take a bit longer, don't they? You often find yourself giving something an extra 10-20 minutes. So I just take it out after an hour and a half, put a knife in and test it that way. And if it's not cooked in the middle, put the foil back on and I put it back in and just keep doing that until it's done. So yeah, that'll take care of itself now. I don't know if we'll go this afternoon. I'm going to go and do dinner for Sian now. I'm not going to film you everything we do, or you will be here all day with me. But yeah, what I'm going to do next now is do Sian a bit of dinner. She's into Dairy Lee at the minute, so she's having Dairy Lee sandwiches. Just phases where she likes things and sort of has them for ages and changes into something else. So she just have some sandwiches for dinner. And so I'm going to do them for her now because it's dinner time. She's finished schooling. I've got to check through her work, make sure she's done it all. But I've noticed she hasn't taken her art book, and it was art today, but she hasn't taken her art book. But she's busy with my granddaughter at the moment. They're on the phone because her school is on strike, so she's at home. And it's a bit strange really, because I was saying, oh, have they set you work to do from home? And because normally when they're off, then they get the work sort of online and then send it back, and they check it all that way, and they know they've done the work and they can assess what they've done, you know. So that's what they do. But she says they've given them some work, but it's not the work she's doing in school, it's different work. So everybody's had this work that's not set up what they're doing, so they've all got this different work and they've been told not to send it back. There's no point in sending it back. So it's like she said, most students say, well, we're not going to do it then, because what are they doing it for? It's not part of the coursework, it's not what they're doing, and it's not going back to be assessed or marked or anything like that. So why bother? And I agree with that, because I'm thinking, well, yeah, wouldn't it be better if they were at home and they did something self-led? And if I was a teacher, I'd be really interested in that, because if I said to them, oh, you know, all of you go home, well, you know, when you were not on here because of the strikes, when you're at home, not all of you go home, or they'd all be getting up and going home. But no, the day you're not in, do something self-led, and I'd be interested to know what you've all done, because that would really intrigue me, what everybody in the class would be interested in, and, you know, what they do. I would find that really interesting. And it would be quite nice, and it gets to know your students a bit better as well, what they like and what they're interested in, and how much you're actually learning when they are at home. So yeah, I thought that would be quite nice if they did something. Whether she does it or not, I don't know. We shall see what they all do. She'll let me know about that. But yeah, so Sian's on the phone with my granddaughter at the moment. Her niece. Sounds funny saying that when they're more or less the same age. Well, there's nearly a year between them, but they fell in the same sort of year at school. So yeah, they're on the phone. So Sian can do her art anytime when she chooses, really. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to check Sian's work, what she's done. And we may go walk afterwards, take the dog out with us and go down the river where we normally go, because it's a good mile or so walk. Probably time you walk all the way down there and all the way back, you're just under 2 miles maybe. I was going to say an hour and a half then, a mile and a half. And it's good walk, and it's nice, and, you know, thinking space, and you walk along the banks of a castle and a river, and, you know, you end up by a weir, and it's really nice walk, and we always chat away, and it's good quality time, I think. So it's looking a bit iffy outside, so I don't know if we will do. And if Dean needs to keep going with these electrics, we perhaps won't do that today. Then Sian will normally take the dog a walk out around the block or something like that when she's had her dinner. So we shall see what we do. And then normally when we go for a walk, then by the time we come back and you have a cup of tea, and then it's time to go and fetch my daughter from work, because Dean fetches my daughter. So we have to go out there and fetch her from work. So we all jump in the car and have a ride out, because, you know, it's a little bit of a spin. But yeah, and if we've got errands, we do them en route as well. So we'll often do that rather than go out in the day and waste fuel a couple of times. We can do it all in one go. So yeah, and then it's tea time. Then you sit down and it's bedtime. So your day goes nowhere, doesn't it? It goes nowhere at all. But like I say, at the moment we're a bit, we've got to try and get going a bit and to get the momentum build up to get going. Got such a lot to do. Got the garden to plan. Realised I've not even checked my seeds, not even looked at the seeds this year. And that is so unlike me, because normally I've got my list now on the go for what I need and what I've got and things like that and where it's going. And I've not done nothing like that yet. And I was saying to Dean when I come out of the shed, I said, I've got to sort through this garden. And he says it needs tidying up a bit as well. Nearly tripped over when I come out because there's that much junk round there. I mean, it's all right. It looks sort of somewhere between a farm and a scrapyard at the moment. But the thing is, because you've got all these things, there's no reason it can't be sort of in some sort of tidy order. So it does all need doing, and winter always looks the worst anyway. So we do need to do all that. But there seems such a lot to do. And now Dina's gone and taken on some more jobs instead of, lessening a bit so we can transition over. He's took some more on. And so I don't know how we're even going to do everything. I keep saying to him, I'm going to get somebody in. I'm going to pay somebody to come in and do what I need to do. And he's not having none of that. No, I'll do it. And, well, how are you going to do it? How, when, sort of thing. By the time you've done it, it'll be gone Easter and we won't have even got any further progress, because this is the last week of him having a chance to do anything. So I said it can't be done both ways. You can't do it, we need somebody else to do it, because otherwise I'm sitting here looking at this work thinking days are ticking by and we could be nearly done it by now, and what's the point? Is there any point of even doing it if he's going to keep taking on more work and that? And the idea was he wasn't going to do that, but now he's saying, I can't refuse this job, it's a good job. And well, you go and live in the world then, Dean, in the rat race. But not here. Oh dear, nightmare. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because we've been going on forever. I forgot to say, I'm having trouble with my recording today. It keeps switching off on me. I don't know why. I keep saying it's full, but it's got nothing on it to be full of. But anyway, like I said, I was going to go, but I was going to tell you first, if you were new here or you just happened to watch for the first time, I forgot to say it at the beginning. My channel's now about homeschooling, homesteading type things and home life, really, just our life, what's happening. So you can expect anything when I pop on. It could be any one of those subjects. It could be anything at all that I'm coming on with. And I am going to come and do an air fryer. We are going to do that together sooner rather than later, hopefully, within the next week, I hope. And we're going to do that. And of course, there's a bread maker as well. We can have a go at that as well. But yeah, we've got so many things to do. We're getting it all done. So I shall leave you for now. I'm not sure what day I'll see you because I don't know what we're doing and everything, but I shall try and catch you. If I can try catch you at the end of the week and do something, I will do. I've got to get in the habit of picking up my camera, even if it's just something simple and silly, and you can just join me and we'll just have a chat. But yeah, I'll try and get on again at the end, by the end of the week. What day is it today? Wednesday. Try and get on again. If not, it'll be next week anyway. But I shall see you soon, so take care of yourselves. Bye.